Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, there lived a contessa who had a deeply abiding addiction to beautiful pottery in styles from near to far. Sadly, accidents do happen, and the hard, unforgiving floors of her palace ravenously shattered piece after piece. Refusing to dispose of her precious treasures, she ordered them collected and stored safely for a time when they might be forged back into one. One day, she heard of an exotic technique employed in distant courts involving gold and resin, an art form called Kintsugi. She ordered the requisite materials to be brought to her and set about making whole again what once was twain. So, Kintsugi, the Japanese art of gilding pottery back together and rendering it more valuable than before. Here is a genuine Kintsugi kit. You can see the up close right here. This is in essence using gold and some other interesting components to glue these pieces back together. So let's go ahead and open this kit up and see what it contains. Now, I was very careful in ordering this. I made sure that I got a kit that was made in Britain so that it doesn't contain any extremely dubious components that say might come from a kit made in other places with less tight regulations. So it has in here some, Sandy Leaf Farm unique food and drink and craft kits. I might take a look at that later. Instruction booklet, yay. It is very short, which makes me happy. I do prefer things that take less time. And I should emphasize, I've never done this before, so we're doing this together. We're going to explore this process as a team. I should probably read the warning label here on the back. It says, this kit should only be used by adults. Check. Only use the glue in a well-ventilated area. Hold on a moment. Well ventilated, check. And in fact, I might have one of my servitors bring me a mask. Wear protective gloves when handling the glue, as contact may cause skin irritation and an allergic skin reaction. Well, that makes sense since one of the active ingredients is the active ingredient from poison ivy. The glue will cause serious eye damage and eye irritation and is toxic to aquatic life with long-lasting effects. Well, this is going to be fun. Okay, so let's see what's actually in the kit itself. A mask that maybe actually stops air from entering my mouth. This is designed for ventilation. Just saying. Right. Bubble wrap. Okay. Oh, interesting. So I think I did forget to mention that Kintsugi is actually considered, I did mention that it enhances the value of a product, but nowadays people actually intentionally break items in order to Kintsugi them back together. Much better. I, however, have no need of assistance in breaking fine porcelain or pottery items. I have plenty of my own, as you can see here. So, I shall not be breaking these. I shall be keeping them whole, and if I accidentally break them, then, we'll see. Putting these aside for now. We have our Dui Dui Peng in Pinyin. We have A and B, so I'm assuming that we apply one and then apply the other and they combine somehow. We'll find out in a moment. And we have 2 tubes of that. So hopefully this will be enough for the large amount of items that I have to Kintsugi back together. We shall see. Then we also have these cute little tools for spreading items on, and I can't remember what that's called at the moment. Gold powder, because this is actually gold, and I think these are gloves. Yes, it did say that the kit came with gloves. So there are pieces like this. It comes with this really nice sort of burlap towel. Burlap is not right, it's not that hot. It's very loose weave towel anyway. It looks sort of like cheesecloth. Okay, there are the pieces. Now, let us, I don't know why that's there blocking your view. let us get down to the instructions. So Sandy Leaf Farm was the manufacturer of this kit. Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken ceramics with gold lacquer. It is a manifestation of the principle of wabi-sabi, which teaches us to embrace and celebrate imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. That sounds very Japanese. It has its origins in 15th century Japan, but its influence on art and design is still strong. Our kit replaces the traditional lacquer with 2-part epoxy resin, which is much easier to use and produces a strong bond. We have included 2 small china bowls to practice on, so you can refine your skills before repairing more precious items such as plates, bowls, and vases. Read the safety notices before starting. Well, let's do that now. Important safety information. Please read the below safety information carefully before starting to repair your ceramics. The kit is only to be used by adults. Well, okay. This says the finished bowl is for decorative use only and should not be placed in contact with food. The bowl will not be dishwasher or microwave safe. We'll see about that. Not the microwave safe part. We don't use microwaves at the Creative Contessa. Definitely we won't be putting in the dishwasher. Using the glue safely. In order to make sure that the finished product is very solid, and so the drying time is relatively short, the kit includes a very strong glue. Please read the below safety notices, especially the one about using the glue in a well-ventilated area. Only use the glue in a well-ventilated area. Didn't you just say that? Okay. Wear protective gloves when handling the glue, as contact may cause skin irritation and an allergic skin reaction. The glue can cause serious eye damage and irritation. The glue should be disposed of carefully and is toxic to aquatic life with long-lasting effects. Well, that's joyful. Well, okay, those are the safety instructions. Let's get to repairing. So, whenever you are engaging in any craft or cooking, if there are step-by-step instructions, read all of them first before continuing onward. So I shall read them to myself and then I'm just going to post them here in writing so we can see what's happening. Okay, so I said I was just going to put the instructions here for you to read as I was working on it, but the first one is something I don't need to do. The reason that you have this cloth, wrap one bowl, that was this little guy right here, little tiny bowl, cute little thing, perfect for drinking soju. Wrap one bowl in several layers of the cotton fabric, leaving enough fabric to be able to hold onto it firmly. In a single movement, break the bowls against a hard surface. A stone floor works well. Well, I've got tile floors. Only use a minimum amount of force needed to break the bowl, which should leave you with just a few large clean pieces. Don't worry if it's not perfect, embrace the imperfection. We know getting a clean break can be tricky, so we have included 2 bowls for you to practice on. I love any craft that is helping you practice breaking things cleanly. This sounds so quintessentially Japanese as an art. You know, not only do you have to practice gluing things back together cleanly, but you should also practice breaking them cleanly as well. That's just pure great. So I've decided maybe wisdom is the better part of valor, and I should practice on one of these little guys. So now we're going to see if I can successfully break this against this really hard iron last, and or if I just injure myself. So I have a medic on standby in case we have to go to the emergency room. Woohoo! Let's see what happens here. Wow, this thing's really hard. Nope, does not want to break against this. Nope. So now that we have our beautiful mess, the instructions say to actually lay this out in order from largest to smallest. And actually it says first piece it together so that you can figure out the order in which it goes. So let's go ahead and do that with some close-up work. So let's go, jigsaw puzzle time. So I have gloved up. We're now on to the next stage. It says to squeeze a small 20 pence sized amount of Part A glue onto a piece of scrap cardboard. Well, we have lots of scrap cardboard. This is in fact scrap cardboard that you see underneath of you. And if my voice is muffled, I apologize. I have donned my N95 mask. Thank you, coronavirus, for making these so prevalent in our house. Normally this takes much less effort to open up. Well, good on you, Sandy Leaf Farms, for having really super high quality packaging. That's definitely never going to leak anywhere ever. But also that maybe I'll never get to use because I can't actually access this little tube. Aha! Victory! Yes. Okay, so it says a 20 pence size amount. I honestly don't remember what 20 pence coins look like, but I'm just going to assume that they're roughly this sized. Suppose I can always add more. Cap back on. Yep, I can tell I'm glad I'm wearing this mask because even with this mask on, yep. Okay, so I'm gonna make this a little more firm around my nose. This definitely smells like a nail salon. Okay, those poor people who work there. Scoop a very small amount of gold powder onto the glue and mix well. And it says the pigment is very strong, so you only need a very small amount. If you use too much, it may weaken the glue. So I'm going to go with a very small amount. So there is definitely a little bit of artistry in this, in mixing your pigments and your binder. So this is definitely a challenging, potentially challenging sort of thing. Beloved, could you open the front door as well and turn the fan on in here? I forgot we have a fan right above me that we can use. Yay.
Now we shall be invaded by vinegar runes.
So I feel like, not certain whether this is enough. Maybe a video would be helpful in determining whether this is actually enough pigment. Just going to add a little bit more pigment, because I'm honestly not certain. I've never done this before. We are doing this live together. Okay, so then it says squeeze a small amount of part B and mix the glues together. Okay, part B, here we come. Oh, that went much better. Yes, right, small amount. Oh, come on, really? So I think it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So this is a super precise process of eyeballing it. Definitely feeling shades of 15th century artist here. I think that's about, well, we'll see. This is exciting. Well, the camera decided to randomly stop recording because the memory was full. Oh well. Key takeaways. In little pieces, I thought I could just keystone them in at the end. So I would recommend gluing smaller pieces to their bigger chunks and then gluing those chunks together. If I'd actually thought about it, I would have done that, but oh well, lesson learned, and hopefully for you as well. And then of course, this looks like a 4-year-old did this with puffy paint, for those of you who remember those days. But it was my first piece, so lots of lessons learned here. Let's move on to something I really actually care about. This beautiful Celadon cup from Korea. Goes together like this. Just 2 pieces. Unfortunately, it hit the ground in the kitchen and this little piece did not survive. I'm going to attempt to fill that in with the adhesive. So this is basically going to be done in one scene. Okay, let's get to the mixing. Oh, also, because it seemed to me that so much of the mortar, as it were, ended up on this little paddle, I'm going to mix with this toothpick and apply with the trowel. That's the word I was looking for, trowel. Yay. Vocabulary has not failed me. Okay, let's get to mixing. This time I'm definitely going to be doing more because I need enough for that whole edge. And this, I'm not certain if this epoxy has dried out or this adhesive has dried out, because it's very hard to extrude, whereas this is not hard to extrude. So no idea, but there it is. Pigment. Again, not certain. Oh, wait, I was supposed to mix the pigment into A first and then mix in B. Oh, well, here we go. Exciting times. That's actually mixing up quite nicely. Okay. Oh, let's see. Okay. And now in we go. Okay, I'm happy so far. Embracing the imperfection. That should become my new, oh well, just put my finger straight into the adhesive. That should become the new Creative Contessa motto. I should have that translated into Latin. Embracing the imperfection. Coming soon to the Creative Contessa website, a whole new ethos. Okay, so here, I wonder if I can just use this epoxy to fill in that little gap for the piece of Celadon that is no longer there. Maybe. I will say it's much easier to work with this toothpick than it is with the little trowel that they gave with the set. Okay. Trying to make sure I'm holding it firmly. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt, see if it's possible. I can fill in this gap here with the epoxy mixture. We're just making this crap up as we go along. Going to work with a new toothpick in the hopes that I will not lose so much to the adhesive that's already on it. Mix, mix, mix. And now B. This isn't going too badly, actually. Embrace the imperfection. Interestingly, I can actually use the clean part of this stick to mold the semi-set edging. That's nice. And if I decide I want to, I can go back over and add some more here. To preserve that edge, which I think I will do once it has set some more. Okay, next. Whew, okay. So that was a process. I'm done with all the pieces that I could find, but there's probably more broken pottery somewhere in the house. We might find it after we move to Korea. Anyway, I came into this process having done minimal research into the techniques because I really wanted to rely on the kit itself to guide me. As such, I will say that I think the key instructions were there in terms of process and safety, so that was good. Obviously, the ratios of pigment to adhesive, that wasn't so great. That was not really explained at all, and I just kind of made it up without knowing whether I was doing it correctly or not. One thing that I definitely learned with this particular kit, if you decide to use the Sandy Leaf Farms Kintsugi kit, is that you can't mix up too much adhesive and pigment at a time. It sets very quickly. So you need to mix just what you need and work very quickly to minimize waste. And because it really starts, it sets just so quickly. And that could be because I live in a desert where we have minus 2% humidity. It's worse than being on an airplane. But that could also just be the nature of this particular set of adhesives. Yes, Kitty, no food for you right now. So other takeaways are that you can actually mold the epoxy mixture a little bit. Once it has semi-set, you can actually use a stick, a clean stick, or even I found out your gloved fingers to kind of smooth it out and shape it a bit like clay. So that was interesting to figure out as well. So now I think I might actually look into more detailed instructions on how to accomplish this in a more elegant fashion. So maybe stay tuned for a Kintsugi event coming soon to a Creative Contessa event near you. So don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications if you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for your cute kitty. Stay creative.